Good morning, everyone. It's time to change the spark plugs on this thing. It's a little bit more complicated than it looks because only 3 of them you can get to. So we're going to see how long this takes. The first thing you got to do is pull this off and see how long this is going to take. Ooh. So we got to pull this intake off. I'm going to disconnect this. I loosened this one, but it wasn't quite loose enough. And then it pulled off the whole thing right here when I pulled on it. So I disconnected this plug, and now this whole thing came out. We got our first piece out. Piece out. Okay, we can see a lot better now. It looks like you can get to those 3 very easily. And then if we look on this side, we cannot get to these 3. So in order to get over here, we disconnect that. There's a screw right here, I see. 2 screws down there. 2 screws, 2 10 millimeters. This all has to come off. We have some wires here, some wires here. That's gonna come off. We got a screw here. And then we have a bunch of these Torx 8 millimeter looking ones. I disconnected everything around here. This guy doesn't really want to come off. This one pulled right off up there. We're getting closer. Those just unplugged. I just need something to pop that off with. I pushed it with a screwdriver and then it came off. I feel like I got everything off. It looks like we got a 10 millimeter here, a 10 millimeter here. We have a 13 millimeter there and 2 10 millimeters there. And then we pull off these bolts and it's done. Let's see if it's that easy. So I was right, these are 10 millimeters. We got one there and one here. Now we gotta get this 13 off. It's got this little cap on it. We're gonna pop that with a screwdriver. Okay, see that? Then we have a 13 millimeter. You could use a 13 deep or a 13 gear wrench. I am using a 13 gear wrench for this. It looks like the whole stud is coming out. Oh, it's made to go out like that. Up front here, I just used a 1/4-inch ratchet to get it started, and then I'll take the rest off with my fingers. But we can get to both of them right like that. I believe I have all the bolts out. So what I'm gonna do now is pull these top ones out, and the whole thing should just pull right off. These are 8 millimeters right here, so we're gonna take them all out. There's gonna be a torque sequence to put them back in. We're gonna have to look that up. Okay, so I loosened that, and it looks like it's gonna pull right out. Oh, we gotta pull that bracket off. And then comes right off. That took about 15 minutes. So we put some paper towels in there so that nothing gets in there. We're gonna put a rag over it too. We double protect ourselves here because you never wanna get anything in there. Never. Okay, next step is to disconnect these. You're just gonna push down on this and pull that out. 1, 2, 3. Then we have 3 of these. It pulls out the coil pack. We're gonna do the same thing on the back side. These are a 10 millimeter. You're just gonna break those open. To remove the coil pack, you're just gonna do a little twisty twist and pull and plop. There we go. You're gonna use a ratchet to remove the spark plug. I do one at a time just so you don't drop anything down that hole. This is what we found at the bottom of the first one. This is the original Champion, as you can see. We chose NGKs. Now let me check and see what the gap I'm supposed to put on these are. I gapped the new spark plug to 0.043 as specified. Once I put the new one in, I'm gonna put this back into the hole here because I don't want stuff to fall down there. If you wanted to speed something up, you could pre-gap all the plugs before you get out to the car and then you can just put them in. It'll be at least a little faster. On the back side, you're gonna squeeze this little plug again and pull it out on all of them. Then you're gonna take your 10 millimeter and you are going to loosen up all 3 of those. On the back side of the motor, you're gonna need to use a shorter extension because you need to be able to fit it into the hole. Once you've put all the spark plugs in, you gotta make sure that you tightened all of the bolts because you don't want to find out the hard way. Oh, here's something to tell you about. Now, I got new gaskets, but that's just me. A lot of these people don't replace them, but for $15, why not? To remove these, you're gonna wanna find a little hook tool, like so, and just hook underneath and pull it out. To put the new one in, you're just gonna put it right in that little hole, and then bam, done. Once you've got them all on there, you're gonna have to pull out those paper towels because it's time to put that back on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it back on, and we're just gonna loosely put in all those screws so that we can get everything in place, and then we'll torque it down last. I'm gonna be an overachiever here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do throttle body cleaning. We're gonna just wipe that out in there, because while you're in here, you might as well do that. You can do this while it's in the car, but it is much easier just to squirt it out and then give it a wipe. Okay, it's all cleaned out, shiny, new, no ring in there. We got it all out. It clearly states on top of the intake that it's 7 to 9. To get this right into the spot, I put those 2 back ones in first, and then I lined up these. Just make sure that they're in the right place. You want to do it by hand so that you're not cross-threading anything. You don't want to cross-thread. Always a bad thing. So we're going to start with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's all. Took about an hour and a half. Nothing too hard. Really a pretty easy job. All you need is a torque wrench. So if you don't have one, you should get one beforehand.